Ja. ॐ ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशकारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण।
हरे कृष्ण।
एक ये चल रहा है। हरे कृष्ण।
बटन ऑन नहीं।
बंद ये चालू कर।
हाँ
हरे कृष्ण।
स्पीकर चालू।
हरे कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण
लाइक
हरे कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण। हरे कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण। हरे कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण। ठीक ठीक है, तो ये पांचवा वो फिफ्थ चैप्टर हम लोग करने वाले। तो आप सबके पास है आ रहा है। So one can start.
Chapter 5, How to Approach God. In truth, all Vedic literature directs the human being toward the perfect stage of devotion. The paths of fruitive activities, speculative knowledge, and meditation do not lead one to the perfectional stage, but the Lord is actually approachable by one who follows the process of devotional service. Therefore, all Vedic literature recommends that one accept this process. In this regard, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu quoted the Lord's instructions to Uddhava in Srimad Bhagavatam. न साधयति मां योगो न सांख्यं धर्म उद्धव न स्वाध्यायस्तपस्त्यागो यथा भक्तिर्ममोर्जिता. My dear Uddhava, भक्त्याहम एकयाग्राह्य श्रद्धायत्मा प्रियसतां भक्ति पुनाति मां निष्ठा स्वपाकान् अपि संभवात्. My dear Uddhava, neither philosophical speculation, nor meditational yoga, nor penances can give me such pleasure as devotional service practiced by the living entities. I am dear only to my devotees, and I can be achieved only by devotional service. Even an extremely low-born person will become free from all contamination if he takes to my devotional service. Devotional service is the only path by which one can achieve the Supreme Person.
Devotional service is the only perfection accepted by all Vedic literatures. Just as when a poor man receives some treasure, he becomes happy. When one attains to devotional service, his material pains are automatically vanquished. As one advances in devotional service, he attains love of Godhead and he advances in this love. He becomes free from all material bondage. One should not think, however, that the disappearance of poverty and the liberation from bondage are the goals of devotional service. Love of Krishna, love of God, is itself the goal, and it consists in relishing the reciprocation of loving service with the Lord. In all Vedic literatures, we find that the attainment of this loving relationship between the living entity and the Supreme Lord is the goal of devotional service. Our actual function is devotional service, and our ultimate goal is love of Godhead. Therefore, in all Vedic literatures, Krishna is the ultimate center, and through knowledge of Krishna, all problems of life are solved.
Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then quoted a verse from the Padma Purana. There are many different Puranas with instructions by worshipping different types of demigods. But such instructions only bewilder people into thinking that the demigods are supreme. Yet, if one carefully studies the Puranas, he will find that Krishna, the supreme personality of Godhead, is the only object of worship. For example, in the Markandeya Purana, there is mention of Devi worship or worship of the goddess Durga of Kali. But in this same Purana, it is also stated that all the demigods, even Durga, are but different energies of Vishnu. Thus, the studies of the Puranas reveals Vishnu, the supreme personality of Godhead, to be the only object of worship.
The conclusion is that directly or indirectly all types of worship are more or less directed to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Krishna, the Bhagavad Gita 9:23, confirms that one who worships the demigods is in fact worshipping only Krishna because the demigods are but different parts of the body of Vishnu or Krishna, but that such worship is irregular. Srimad Bhagavatam 11:21-42-43 confirm this irregularity by answering the questions: what is the purpose of the different types of worship? Described in the Vedic literature. In the Vedic literature, there are five divisions. One is called the Karma Kana, which describes purely ritualistic activities, and another is the Jnana Kana, which describes speculation on the supreme absolute truth. But then is the purpose of the ritualistic sections of the Vedic literature, and what is the purpose of the Upasana Kana, which contains different mantras or hymns for worshipping various demigods, and
What is the purpose?
what is the purpose of philosophical speculation on the subject of absolute truth? Srimad Bhagavatam replies that in actually all of these methods described in the Vedic literature indicate the worship of Supreme Lord Vishnu. In other words, they are all indirect ways of worshipping the Supreme Personality of God. Sacrifices contained in the ritualistic portions of this literature are made for the satisfaction of the Supreme Lord Vishnu. Indeed, because Yajna sacrifice is speculative, made for satisfying Vishnu. Another name for Vishnu is uh, Yajneshwara, or the Lord of Sacrifices.
New paragraph.
Since neophytes are not on the transcendental level, the Vedic literature advises them to worship different types of demigods according to their situation in the different mode of material nature. The idea is that gradually such neophyte may rise to the transcendental plane and engage in the service of Vishnu, the supreme personality of God. For example, the Ganas advise the neophytes attached to eating flesh to eat it only after offering it to the goddess Kali.
The philosophical sections of the Vedic hymns are intended to enable one to distinguish the Supreme Lord from Maya. After one understands the position of Maya, one can approach the Supreme Lord in pure devotional service. That is the actual purpose of philosophical speculation. And Krishna confirms this in the Bhagavad Gita. After speculating for many words, the philosophical speculators and empiric philosophers ultimately surrender unto me, was Vasudev, and accept that I am everything. It can thus be seen that all Vedic rituals and different types of worship and philosophical speculation ultimately aim at Krishna.
Yes, okay. So the conclusion is given at the end here. Can you see that all the Vedic rituals and different types of worship and philosophical speculation ultimately aim at Krishna? So that is why here the chapter name How to Approach God we mentioned here. So in the Vedic literature there is always confusion, right? That who is God? And that confusion cannot be solved unless one takes to the path of devotional service. then only can come to know that the ultimate God is Krishna only. Otherwise, in other paths, some demigods can also be there. Or even the Lord's partial manifestation is glorified, like Brahman, Paramatma, not Bhagwan as much. Or other way, Lord is glorified to attain mukti as a means for liberation. Not that direct that you have to attain Lord to serve Him, not like that. So therefore, until unless one comes to the path of devotional service, he cannot understand that the whole Vedic knowledge is directed towards Supreme Personality of God. Brahmaji read Vedas for 3 times. First time he understood Karmakanda is the goal of Veda. Second time he understood Jnana is the goal of the Veda. Third time when he again read, then he understood that the Bhakti is the goal of life. 3 times Brahmaji, who has 4 heads, who is our, we have all been, is our Prapita. He is the oldest, or you can say greatest grandfather. So all lineage is coming from Brahma. So he took so much time to understand the goal of Vedas. So therefore, we certainly cannot understand by our own effort. That's why here in this chapter, Srila Prabhupada is saying from different references. In the beginning, see, there are 3 things, 3 paths are given to achieve the ultimate goal. One is the fruitive path, which is called Karmakanda. And there is speculative path, which is called Jnanakanda. And then meditation path, which is called Yoga. Dhyana Yoga, Ashtanga Dhyana Yoga, like that. So these 3 paths are quite prominent paths which are given in the Vedic literature. And they, but it is mentioned here, they do not lead one to the perfectional state. So they are given to attain to the Supreme Personality of God. They are given actually in the Vedic path. By this you can attain the Lord, but by this you can attain the Lord. But it is said, until if you do not mix bhakti in this path, they will not become successful. Like Karmakanda, if somebody is taking, he has to mix bhakti. Then his offering will be taken by Lord Vishnu. He has to mix some bhakti. So some kind of bhakti he has to mix. Bhakti means service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So either he chants the name of the Lord with some devotion, he follows some procedures, rituals with some devotion. Then this Karmakanda also is taken by the Lord. In the similar way, Jnanakanda also. And at last the meditation. So you should understand all these paths. It is mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam. One cannot achieve liberation also, like a Jnani we mentioned here, that Jnanis they achieve liberation. They cannot achieve liberation only by the path of Jnana. They have to include Bhakti. Bhakti Mishra Jnana. Then only they will attain. Means Bhakti is required. So Bhakti, through Bhakti, understand that there is a Supreme Lord, who is very beautiful Lord, and who resides in the heart as a Paramatma. And then he meditates on that Lord. The Jnani also does that. Later, after Jnana, then he goes to the yogi platform. And then he meditates on the Lord. And then after meditation, he understands that my goal is not to become attached to the Lord. My goal is to Brahma Mukti, to merge into the sky of spiritual sky. So therefore, he withdraws his mind from the Paramatma form and he desires that I should merge into the spiritual sky. And then Lord blesses him. That time he goes to the Brahma. Otherwise, he cannot go. If somebody thinks like, therefore this sloka comes that Aruh Krishchena Param Padam Patanti Anam. Anadrit Yusmat Angriya. Means if somebody has not taken shelter of the Lord's lotus feet and if he says that I am liberated, so Vimuktamaninas, Avisuddha Buddhaya. So जिसकी बुद्धि अविशुद्ध है, मतलब शुद्ध नहीं है, इस not purified, contaminated बुद्धि, So that kind of person thinks that I am liberated and so I can merge into Brahman. But no, because they are not taking shelter of the Lord, he can also not get Brahman. So Mayavadis they never get Brahman. This is just their speculation. Of those Jnani who understand that the Lord is Nirakar, Lord has no form, they also don't get. The Jnani who must go to the platform of yogi and he should see the Lord as a Paramatma here, and then he should see the every glimpse of the Lord. Why it happens? Because by seeing the Lord, he purifies his intelligence. He purifies his anarthas. And when he gets purified, then he can merge into Brahman. He has to go through this, and he has to understand that the Lord is there. If he thinks, no, no, this is a false form, whose form I am seeing, this is not correct, then he cannot go. He has to ascertain, yes, there is a Lord. So this path is given in the Bhagavatam second canto, Krama Mukti Yoga. This is the general path Sukadeva Goswami says. Every Jnani yogi has to follow Krama Mukti Yoga before they merge into the Brahman. If he does not want to merge, if he wants to advance to serve or see Paramatma, so then he keep on seeing Paramatma and desires to serve him. So then he will give Mukti. In that Mukti, he will go to the door of Vaikuntha. That is, Prabhupada says, those who are Paramatma-vadis, they go to the door of Vaikuntha. They don't enter into the spiritual world. They just remain at the door of Vaikuntha. Udhar ko seva kuch to milta ho, something. And those who really want to serve Lord, so by seeing Paramatma, they desire to serve him. So then that Paramatma transforms himself as a serving or loving Lord, whom we can serve him. So then that devotee can further be transformed to the planet of Vaikuntha inside. So this is called Karma Mukti Yoga actually. It is also said fisherman yogi. Fisherman matlab kya hai? The yogi wants Brahma Mukti, but he wants to use Paramatma to get his goal. Brahma Mukti is a lower goal, and it is selfish still because he does not want to serve Lord. He wants to simply merge and want to rest in Brahman. So therefore, he wants to use Paramatma because he knows that without Paramatma I cannot get it. So therefore, he has to meditate on Paramatma, and then he says, okay, now done, attendance laga diya na, now let me go now. So then he withdraws his mind and goes. And he merges into the Brahman. This way it happens. So okay. So the path of fruitive activity. Okay, so how can path of fruitive activity give one perfection? No, it cannot give a perfection unless it is mixed with devotion. There is a nice shloka in Srimad Bhagavatam. It says, what kind of chapter is? नैष्कर्म्य अप्यच्युत भाव वर्जितम न शोभते ज्ञानमनं निरंजनम कुतः पुनः सस्वदभद्रमीश्वरे न चार्पितं कर्म यदप्य कारणम. Very nice shloka. Narad Muni says to Vedas. Naiskar appe achyut bhava varjitam. Naiskar also, Naiskar means what? You don't relate with the result of the work. Naiskar means you give all the result to the Lord. You become free from all reaction of your work. That is Naiskar. But even if Naiskar is achyut bhava varjitam, there is no bhava to serve the Lord in Naiskar. Just to free from the reaction. नो कोई रिएक्शन आए मेरे को जो भी काम करो बस. लेकिन भगवान को सेवा, आपको प्रेम से सेवा करने का उसमें भाव नहीं है. नारद से say that it is lowest. What is the use of such knowledge? नस्का में अपचित भाव वर्धितम न शोभते ज्ञान अनंत निरंजन. It is not giving any शोभा. ये फालतू का नॉलेज है ये ऐसा. Then he said कुतः पुनः सत्स्वत अवद्रम ईश्वरे. Now, in this world, so see, generally, the Veda's first focus was that let's connect people to karma kanda, and then elevate them to jnana kanda, and then give them mukti. ये वेदा का है धर्म से कामों से निकाल दो उसको बाहर. ठीक है. Now Narad Muni is analyzing this path. He is saying if such path where there is simply becoming free from the reaction of your work, that is the goal, and so you get the mukti. That is useless. उसके फिर नीचे आते हैं कर्मकांड में, बोलते कर्मकांड में ऑलरेडी द अभद्रा, it has no any auspiciousness कर्मकांड. But he said, but कुतः पुनः सस्वद अभद्र विश्वरे न चाकृतम कर्म यद प्रकार. But if this abhadra karmakanda, if it is engaged in service of the Lord, fruitive activity, then it has some value. So then he is saying it has value. So the jnana kanda or the jnana which is simply telling us to become free from result of work, that has no value if it is free from सर्विस टू द लॉर्ड. एंड द अनवैल्यूएबल थिंग, मतलब जो भी बेकार वाली चीज है उसको वैल्यू हो रहा है क्योंकि इसको भक्ति मिल जा रहा है. तो सोचो भक्ति कितना इंपॉर्टेंट है. लाइक द नेक्स्ट स्टोरी, लाइक वेस्ट प्रोडक्ट बाय मिक्स विद द भक्ति इज यूजफुल, एंड द मोस्टली ग्लोरिफाइड प्रोडक्ट विद नो भक्ति इज यूजलेस. लाइक दैट इज थिंग. सो ज्ञानपाद इज सेइंग कि वेद व्यास जी is actually chastising that time to Veda Vyas. He's saying कि your creation of Vedic literature is faulty because you are glorifying Karmakanda, Jnanakanda, and they are useless unless they are mixed with the devotional service, unless they are having the अच्युत भाव कि भगवान की सेवा के लिए मैं कर रहा हूँ. अच्युत भाव होना चाहिए कोई भी बात में. It becomes mechanical, it becomes selfish until unless it is connected with अच्युत भाव. Achyut bhava varnitam should not be there. Achyut bhava should be there. So that is the goal of the Vedic literature in real sense. But people, when they don't go to the proper guru, so they can be misled. Actually, that's why the 6 kind of philosophies which are there given by our different brahmanas like Jaimini, Gautam Muni. Yeah? So all these are atheistic philosophies. You can understand such a big philosophers. Gautama is giving Kapila. Now this Kapila, this is not that Kapila, Devavati Kapila. No, this is a different Kapila. Matlab he is a atheistic Kapila. So he is giving, and then so Sankhya is given, Gautam is giving, Vaisasika is giving, Jaimini is giving. So all these people are giving the 6 kind of philosophy, in which the only Vedanta Sutra which is given by Ved Vyas, that is only theistic. All other are atheistic philosophy. It is proven by the Bhakti Vinod, because they are considering intermediate thing to be the goal of life. Like one person says that atom is the cause of creation. Atom is the cause of creation. In one sense, it's correct. Na? Everything is made up of atom. Everything. परमाणु तो सब कुछ बना है. So therefore atom is the cause. So it's like our chemistry. Chemistry sees everything like a atom, made up of atom molecules. So our scientists also got inspiration from these people. actually they have got inspiration from these people only. Now this Jaimini comes, he says that karmavad, that work is a cause of, means whatever work you do, the result you are going to get anyway. So there is nobody supreme than your work. You just do your work. This is given by Jain, Karmavad. That's why Krishna also mispreaches his parents in the Govardhan Leela. He says the same thing. Are Govardhan is giving you grasses, rains are coming. Then because anyway they have to give rain. So our cows are very important, our fields are very important. Yes. So now the cows are grazing at the Govardhan. So grasses are given by Govardhan. We have a nice valleys, nice waters are coming from Govardhan. So we should worship Govardhan. And anyway, whatever work you are doing, they will not have to give the result because that is karma. जो तुमने किया उसको मिलना ही वाला है, तो तुमको वर्शिप क्यों करना है? वो तुमका ड्यूटी है ना, कर देना आपको. So why should worship? This is how Krishna is preaching in 10th character. See, but Krishna's goal is very clear. He wants to make Govardhan worship. And who is Govardhan? Krishna. In a similar way, when Krishna took form of Buddha, he told the same thing to his followers. Just follow me. Don't follow Vedas, follow me. So, in one sense, he is correct only. Buddha is Krishna. But he is telling to follow Buddha not with a proper core Vedic philosophy, but with sentiment or with some understanding, with some faith that I am the Supreme. है ना? So they are also very distracted. But we say Buddha is also Nastic, and this also is Nastic. This karma one, generally, he is also Nastic. Why? Because those who don't accept the Vedas, they are called Nastic. Very simple. So Nastic. And this is a very amazing thing. These people have taken philosophy from Vedas only and made their own philosophy, and they are called Nastic. Because they have not reached to the conclusion of the Vedas. So you may take knowledge from Vedas, but if you don't reach to the conclusion, you are still called Nastic. Because you have not reached to the conclusion of the Vedas. This is very important thing. Even if you have faith, otherwise why Asuras are called Nastic? They take knowledge from Vedas only, na? They chant mantras from Vedas to call Brahmadev, Lord Shiva. They chant mantra from Vedas. They follow all the practices from Vedas. Still they are called Nastic Asuras. Why? Because their conclusion is not according to the Vedic literature. The conclusion is to kill Vishnu, destroy Vishnu. Arjuneshwar Pr, soul के बारे में तो perfect knowledge है. But then after saying that, he says that you all now push away. You are lamenting too much. He is telling to his bhabi and his mother कि अभी मेरा भाई मर गया है. Just now you hear the philosophy from me, the soul's philosophy, and then become pacified and let his body be burned, and I am going to prepare for killing Vishnu. This is the conclusion. To pacify, he was using the knowledge of soul. And his conclusion was, now everything is done, now I should kill Vishnu, by which my brother will be satisfied. This was his conclusion. Therefore, they are called Nastic. So, in today's time also you find many religions, in the name of religion, so many people are there. So they also follow some part of the Vedic literature. Like, for example, ये lecture चल जा रहा है, बाहर तो नहीं जा रहा, YouTube पे जा रहा है क्या?
वो अनलिस्ट करते हैं, बोलो अनलिस्ट करते हैं.
ऐसा क्या? ठीक है. Any other sampradaya, not the Vaishnava sampradaya. So they may take some yoga process from Vedic literature, but their goal is not to achieve Vishnu. Their goal is to teach only yoga. So then they become atheistic. Very simple. Because they are not having faith in the goal of the Vedas. They derive their own conclusion. So this is the problem. So that is why this has to be very clearly mentioned that ultimately the Vedas goal is Vishnu. And this misunderstanding, even it is found in the Vedic literature when people approach Karma Kanda section, which Prabhupada mentions here, which he proves actually at the last through Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Here Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ultimately proves so that the demigod worship is only given for neophytes. Those who don't understand that Supreme Lord, the Vishnu is the, here it is mentioned. The idea is that gradually such neophyte may rise to the transcendental plane and engage in service of Vishnu. Yes, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is the idea. For instance, it gives example that somebody wants to eat meat, he told, you go and worship Kala. See, just imagine, just to understand why it is spoken. Now somebody wants to eat meat. He cannot go to Vishnu, correct? Vishnu will not facilitate meat eating. Somebody wants to do something wrong, illicit sex, but Vishnu will not facilitate. Then, but again, this person has to be again accepted. His habits are bad, but he may have some intention or some inclination if it can be engaged in service of the Lord. So then, okay, you go to Devi and enjoy. जो भी तुम्हें करना देवी के पास जो उनसे एंजॉय करो और आपको ये वाला ये नहीं करना है तो इसके लिए मेरे पास आता ऐसा समझ में इस तरीके लाइक if he wants some son बच्चा चाहिए so now he has to do some putra kamishti again or some pious activity he has to do and that pious activity the Yageshwar is Vishnu even though that also in between demigods are there. You have to call upon the demigods, you have to chant the mantra of demigods. But the mood mantra, the Bij mantra in the Yagya is Vishnu. Or in other way you can say the Omkar. The Om itself is the Bij mantra. Om, every mantra of the Vedas starts with the Om. Yes? And Om is nothing but the invocation to Lord Vishnu. In general, actually, it is said it's invocation to the impersonal form of Vishnu, like yeah, impersonal form. Like बोलते ना O Om, बोलते ना O. So you are calling the Lord, but you are not seeing the form of the Lord. Otherwise, it's called Hare Krishna. You see the form. Krishna is there, Radha is there. This is directly called Hare Krishna. But you do not know what is the form of the Lord. So therefore, you say Om. It's like an invocation. And invocation. जैसे कहीं बोलते ना, अरे आ जाओ इधर, अरे तो अरे भी क्या होगा, एक इन्वोक कर रहा है उसको, हम इन्वोकेशन. तो इसी तरह सुप्रीम भगवान को इन्वोक करने वाला चीज इन्वोकेशन, कि मैं यज्ञ कर रहा हूँ, मैं अभी मंत्र आपके लिए बोल रहा हूँ, ओम इंद्राय स्वाहा, तो ओम, तो देखो मंत्र तो ओम है, अब इंद्राय स्वाहा बोला है तो इंद्र बाद में आ रहा है, बट ओम से चालू हो रहा है. दिस इज द बीज मंत्र. And even Lord Vishnu's name also come in the end or in between or the end of the yajna, it comes. So in this way, the yajnas which are given in the Vedas, they silently introduce Vishnu. Because the living entity wants sense gratification, and if you tell living entity, these things will not be liked by Vishnu, so don't ask these things from Vishnu. So then he will tell, take away your Vedas, I am going. So then Veda says, you want this, now come. Here is the way to attain this. You chant the mantra of this Indra, you chant the mantra of this Chandra, Varuna, ऐसे करो और ये यज्ञ करो, हो जाएगा. और फिर में विष्णु का नाम डाल दिया. So what happens? Knowingly or unknowingly, if he is doing it, he develops the faith in some demigods. अरे इनका मंत्र जपने से काम हो रहा है. Things are happening. So then he start developing faith in these demigods. Even the Vishnu, and he also understands that Vishnu is the leader of all these demigods. So therefore, sometimes they understand that Vishnu is also one of the Devata. He is not Devata, he is the Adi Devata. He is Supreme Lord, but he also understands sometimes the Karmakandi people. He is also one of the Devatas. Because he is also chanting sometimes the name of Vishnu. So that's why. So slowly his faith is built upon Vedic scriptures. And then he looks, okay, Vedic scripture also glorifies Vishnu. So then, हाँ ठीक है, अभी एक जगह पे उसका faith बन गया तो दूसरी चीज भी accept करेगा ना, जो वेदा बोलेगा तो. So slowly his conviction is increased. Like this is the purpose of the Veda, the slow preaching. They are not doing direct preaching. Veda does not bring direct preaching. It is doing gradual preaching, or you can say indirect preaching. Indirect preaching चलता है Veda. Because Veda have to cater so many living entities. You cannot directly force. Like yesterday, one verse was there in Srimad Bhagavatam, in our temple, where Prabhupada writes that to cut tree is a very greatest sinful activity. And nowadays, in modern civilization, they are cutting trees to publish unworthy literatures, newspapers. So all such cutting of trees should be stopped. Then Prabhupada writes in the purport. But somebody may question, then how will we publish our books? So then he said, only for his small publication the trees will be cut. So like, just imagine. Prabhupada writes like this. But see, Prabhupada's mood you have to understand. Prabhupada wants that everything should be given to the service of Vishnu. Nothing should be utilized for sense gratification. ये प्रभुपाद का मूड है, ठीक है. बट आप समझो कि अभी भगवान ने संसार केवल उनके लिए ऐसे किसी के लिए बनाया, तो उसी के लिए पर्पज इज दैट ओनली. बट लॉर्ड हैज टू आल्सो कैटर द लिविंग एंटिटी वाज नॉट वांटिंग टू सर्व लॉर्ड. यस, दैट इज आचार्य मूड, दैट इज करेक्ट. बट दीस पीपल, even though they will do sinful activity, but still they have to survive ना. Living entity, चाहे pious करे या impious करे, he has to survive in this world. And for survival, he has to do either pious or impious activity. Correct? He has to do. So Prabhupada is telling from that point of view, there will be no impiety, no piety. You just serve Vishnu. But Vedas, they consider piety impiety, because they have to cater on living entities. And Krishna himself says, Manushyanam Savasreshu, Krishnayati Siddha. Everybody can become devotee. Everybody can become devotee, not in one life, next life, next life, next life. Ultimately, Vedas have the same goal. That ultimately इसको बना देंगे हम बाद में, चिंता मत करो. But आचार्य जो बातें हैं वो डायरेक्टली पकड़ के चलो निकलो, ये क्या गड़बड़ कर निकलो. So there their intention is that don't waste time, don't waste, just get out. बहुत हो गया, निकलो यहाँ से. They are like personally, like Vedas, their mother. The mother written song. आचार्य like गुरु's father. Father थोड़ा स्ट्रिक्ट होते हैं. आचार्य तो वो बोलते हैं वेदा में क्या दिया तुमको पता है क्या दिया, मैं बताऊँ क्या दिया, ऐसे यही दिया है. तो मदर में से ये भी खा ले वो भी खा ले, बट आचार्य से नो, ओनली दिस यू शुड ईट, चलो निकलो, लाइक दैट. So, but the Vedas cater to the needs of all living entities, whether they are sinful or pious. So Vedas give them a great amount of options. You can, if you want this, you can go this, you go here. If you want this, you can go here. If you want this, you can go here. So that's why many times they become distracted actually. Vedas are also telling to enjoy, and sometimes Vedas is also telling you should, there is spiritual world or there is Vishnu, you should worship him. So then sometimes people don't come to the conclusion, है क्या conclusion वेद का, क्योंकि सब कुछ दिया है ना उसने. वेद में 90% कर्म कांड है. You can understand. And how can you take out the devotional goal from Vedas? 90% कर्म कांड है, just समझो. It means you can understand the whole purpose of the Vedas to inspire those living entities who want self gratification. So Vedas want to inspire them to take up to dharma process, and through dharma they should enjoy. That's why dharma, artha, kam. Through dharma, earn your living properly and then enjoy. Just understand the whole purpose is देखो वही है ना, dharma, artha, kam. And moksha is coming the last one. So moksha you can say it's like a ये गलत रास्ता ही होगा. अभी धर्म अर्थ काम होने के बाद उसको मोक्ष में जाना पड़ना है. मोक्ष इज डिफरेंट है ना, अलग ही दिख रहा है ना, क्योंकि मोक्ष मतलब सब कुछ छोड़ना है. अब 3 बात में बोल दिया एंजॉय करो और लास्ट बात होना छोड़ दो. तो वो मोक्ष तक कई लोग जा नहीं पाते, वो काम तक ही और एंजॉय करते रहते. So that is why this is little deluding. But it is also important because Shastra mentions that we should not criticize Vedas. If you criticize Vedas, again we cannot become situated in Bhakti also. It is offense. Because Vedas has a purpose and it is designed by Supreme Lord himself. Even though the Lord, one Lord is a Veda Vyas, incarnation. In the third chapter of first canto, one of the incarnation is Veda Vyas. Another incarnation is Narada. Narada is also incarnation of the Lord, but it is a Sakta Vishnu, a living entity empowered with the Bhakti. So Narada is incarnation of Bhakti, means he can preach Bhakti. Bhakti Prachara. Like Prithu is a incarnation of the Lord, Palak. He can maintain the living entities. Therefore, he was ready to even cut the earth when he came into the cow form. He said, I have to maintain my people, so I will cut you and feed my people. He is a Palak avatar. In the same Narada is a Bhakta avatar. So means Bhakti Prachara. So he can do prachar to anyone. That's why it's so powerful. ना किसी को प्रचार किया ऐसे थोड़ी है, भगवान का सत्ता विषय होता है. And another is a literary incarnation is Ved Vyas. So one incarnation is telling what you have written. This is all Leela only. Lord only doing na. What is Veda? Veda is not simply somebody's speculation. Veda is coming from the breathing of Narayan. It's mentioned in the Vedas. The shlokas are there. The Vedas are nothing but the breathing of Narayan. So Narayan is himself giving the Vedas to Brahma or to the whole world. So how can it be wrong? But still, Narayan in another form is telling, hey, it is indirect. You should not follow. You should follow this devotional process. Right of Bhagavatam, Srimad Bhagavatam. So this is very important. This is how we understand. कितना समय हो गया? 4 minutes more. So here in 11th canto, lot of discussion has been there with Uddhava by the Lord about what is other path and what is pure devotion service. It's a very important section, 11th canto. So अर्जुन को जो बोला वो भगवत गीता है और ये है उद्धव गीता. Uddhava Gita means Uddhava ko bola. So Uddhava Gita is little more advanced than what he spoke to Arjuna. So he says that neither philosophical speculation nor meditational yoga or nor finances can give me such pleasure as devotional service practiced by living entities. So Lord himself says, nothing of the process can give him more pleasure than bhakti. And he also says that even somebody is born in a low caste, lowly born person, if he is a devotee, he automatically becomes free from all contamination. Just see, if he is a devotee, he becomes free from all contamination. The devotional service is the only path by which we can achieve the supreme person. This is the only perfection accepted by all Vedic literature. All Vedic literature accepts this. Just as a so now Prabhupada gives an analogy here. How one becomes happy in bhakti? Like a poor man getting wealth, he becomes happy. In a similar way, this is an analogy given. When you take to bhakti, you become happy. When you take to bhakti, you become happy. How it happens actually, you should understand it. It's a logical also and it's practical also. So Srila Prabhupada at one place he mentions, if you are in some trouble and if you chant Hare Krishna, you just remember the Lord, your pain will reduce. Prabhupada mentions at one place. If you chant Hare Krishna, your pain will reduce. Now, how it happens? So then, it happens we can understand in two ways. First way is, why we are suffering in this world because of this body. So we are attached to this body. So when we are attached to this body, our consciousness is there in the body. Now you just tell me, even somebody is a pure devotee, he has material body, this like material body. It means the body, if I touch this, I feel. It means the consciousness is there in this body, correct?
Yes.
In the similar, if I cut it, the pain will happen. So whether he is a pure devotee or practicing devotee or non-devotee, the pain will happen. Or the suffering will be, okay, pain will be there, correct? Because consciousness is there in the body, and the body's nature is to give that pain. The body nature is to reflect the way it is made, na? If you give rasgulla, it will feel happy. If you give something dry, it will feel not very good, correct? कुछ गड़बड़ दिया या कुछ गंदा दिया तो अच्छा नहीं लगेगा. वो तो बॉडी का नेचर है. So you cannot change the nature of the body. Either you are pure devotee or anything. Okay? No, we are going on the understanding. So, normal living entities, they are attached to this body. So their consciousness is there in this body. But those who are advanced souls, they can withdraw their consciousness from this body. And they can put their consciousness in Supreme Lord. This is a difference. This is a difference. आसक्त मतलब क्या होता है, attached मतलब क्या होता है? You are attached to this body, that I am this body. So you are not able to withdraw your consciousness. Oh, you understand I am this body. But so therefore the suffering continues. The pain is there, but suffering continues because you cannot withdraw yourself. मतलब क्या है? Withdraw मतलब क्या है? This is understanding. Very, very. You can say it's a logical or philosophical understanding. Our attachment to body is only cause of our suffering. Attachment to body only is the cause of suffering. If you are not attached, you can withdraw yourself, and automatically that gives you lesser suffering or no suffering. It can happen. या तो lesser suffering या no suffering. If attachment becomes zero, then you don't require body only. Body नहीं चाहिए आपको. तो प्योर डिवोटी केस में क्या होता है कि उनको भी दर्द होगा, लेकिन they will start focusing on the Supreme Lord, like as I mentioned in the beginning. When you chant Hare Krishna, your consciousness is transferred to the Lord. Then automatically your pain reduces or suffering reduces automatically. That is the whole technique actually. The more we remember the Lord, the more we are conscious of the Lord, the attachment automatically is withdrawn. अभी आपको लगे मैं भी तो खा रहा हूँ, मैं भी तो चल रहा हूँ, तो मेरा और बाकी लोग भी खा रहे हैं, अंतर क्या है? ये अंतर है. आपको पता नहीं लग रहा, आपका अटैचमेंट कट रहा है इधर से, और आपका पेन भी कम होता जाएगा अपने आप. Mentally and then gross also. It is said in the medical science, people are suffering more in mental than in gross. जो ज्यादा मेंटल होता है बाहर वही क्रॉस में आके निकल के आता है ना. तो devotees are happy mentally because they are not attached, they understand everything, what is this, what is that, and they are following some rules and regulations of devotional service. So their attachment is cut actually, and that itself is a cause of reducing of their suffering. This is one way of understanding. Another way is Krishna reduces. Okay, as a Paramatma, he say, oh, he is surrendering to me, he is crying. Okay, let me bless him. Other way to understand can be this. But the pure devotee has withdrawal technique. They have withdrawal technique. They withdraw their senses or their consciousness from this body and they put totally in the Lord. So their suffering reduces. Therefore, in the big calamities time, even though they are living in this world, they have families, they remember the Lord. And by remembering, they pacify themselves. How it happens? Because they withdraw their attachments, whatever they have, they withdraw and they put in the Lord. They put it like Kunti Maharaj. विपदा संतोषा तत्त जगत गुरु. अभी ये समय में लगता है कुंती महाराज बोलती है कि इतना समस्या है भगवान, इतना समस्या है. दूसरे समय वो बोलती है कि मेरे को समस्या दे दो ताकि मैं और आपको याद करूं. He says, so that I remember you, because by remembering you, I will cross this ocean. No suffering will come. So when one transfers the consciousness in the Supreme Lord, his attachment from body goes away. His consciousness means right now he is conscious, he is working. But why they are working? Because they are externally conscious. But we should develop the technique also to withdraw ourselves. उसके लिए साधना करना पड़ता है. योगी लोग यही करते हैं ना. योगी लोग क्या करते हैं? बैठ के मन पे चले जाते हैं ना, माइंड प्लेटफॉर्म पे मेडिटेट करने के लिए. फिर बॉडी में उतना वो रहता नहीं उनको. And that's why they can meditate on the Lord. So they have to go inward. Our process is not like sitting and doing that. Our process is doing service, developing love for the Lord, doing devotional service, and then going inward, more inward, more inward. So at any time problem comes, means trouble comes, we can simply meditate upon the Lord and become happy. This is the way. So everyone has, see, this world is a suffering place. You have to transcend this place. Then only the happiness will be felt. Because you are not this body. And for that you have to withdraw yourself. So this withdrawal technique has to be there before death. Otherwise, इतना भक्ति किया कुछ नहीं हुआ. ऐसा नहीं है. So you have to see whether we have really got that perfection of bhakti. So withdrawal technique should be there. So we can withdraw ourselves from the worldly problems. So we can withdraw if we can become conscious of ourselves as Atma and conscious of Supreme Soul. So then the withdrawal happens. Otherwise no. Otherwise what happens? तो प्रॉब्लम है. जैसे वृत्रासुर इंद्र ने काटा, 1 साल के लिए काट रहे, वो ऑलरेडी चला गया. वृत्रासुर बॉडी में है, बट इज रिमेंबरिंग द लॉर्ड. ही हैज नो कॉन्शियसनेस इन द बॉडी. ही वाज जस्ट कटिंग, नो पेन. Pain was not there. So there are some, like Parikshit also, when the Takshaka came and beat him, already he was remembering the Lord. So now remembering the Lord means now he is not conscious externally. He is not conscious externally. So whatever you want to do it, no problem. Externally कुछ भी करो, कुछ मतलब नहीं. So pure devotee, they become inwardly conscious. भगवान के ऊपर सोचने लगते हैं, उनकी लीला पे. इसलिए उनको बाहर से कुछ उतना प्रॉब्लम नहीं. And they also understand all these are arranged by the Lord. No worry, I'll just focus on it. So that much they have control of mind and senses. So that is why they are always happy. कहीं भी जाओ, वो withdraw कर सकते हैं ना. उनके पास withdrawal technique है. हमारे पास क्या है? हमारे पास withdrawal नहीं, attaching technique है. हम जहाँ भी जाते attach हो जाते हैं. चुंबक है वो लोग. इसलिए हम हमेशा परेशान रहते हैं. इसलिए भक्ति करना चाहिए. So that we can withdraw ourselves. This is the abolic sense actually. Okay? Srila Prabhupada की जय. कोई क्वेश्चन है किसी ने पूछ सकते हैं.
That's regarding you said that Dharma, Jnana, they all have to have some change of Krishna, change of devotion.
They have to put.
So, like, two questions are there. One is, what perfection they achieved? Like Karma Kand, what is their perfection they are done? And second is, means when you say change of devotion service, means is it the 9 processes, the 9-fold process which is shown of Srikana? Out of those 9 months they have to perform, or what kind of aspect of devotion service should be there?
See, the Vedas, the mantra itself, the Yagya mantra, itself have the Vishnu mantra. So the devotion is there in that. Okay, one thing. Devotion in the sense, the mantra of the Lord is there, you are chanting the Lord's mantra. and you have to also understand about the Lord. ऐसा नहीं कि ऐसी जब रहा है. No, you have to hear from. See, anybody cannot chant Vedic mantra. Who chants Brahmana? And Brahmanas, every Brahmana has Saligram Sila at their home for worship. So Brahmanas, they know. Even though some Brahmanas may have faith in demigods or in personal Brahman, but they worship Saligram also. And Brahmanas, they offer the Lord and then they eat. So see, the whole culture is like that. Mantras, they not who chants Brahmanas. जो यज्ञ कराते हैं ब्राह्मण स्कूल आके यज्ञ कराते हैं ना. So through the purity of Brahmanas, by his chanting, the Yajman who has called the Brahmana, he gets the benefit. Like we go to the school, teacher teaches us, and then we get the knowledge. The teacher is teaching by his experience, by his compassion is teaching. So that's why one would get knowledge. In the similar way, Brahmana. So we are considering about the Brahmana. So if this Brahmana teaches कि देखो आप हाँ चलो इधर ये डालो विष्णु कौन है यज्ञेश्वर है उनको प्रणाम करो विष्णु का एक मंत्र जपो तो बताते हैं तो फिर इसमें भक्ति धीरे धीरे आता है. So this is the way. So Vedas through mantras, through some rituals, they introduce bhakti. Now which bhakti is this? It is a mixed bhakti. It's not pure bhakti.
So those ninefold processes are pure devotion, sir.
They are ninefold. They are direct devotion, sir. Pure.
लेकिन
But
यहाँ पर
हाँ यहाँ पे क्या है वो अहेतु की अप्रतिहता है. The ways of practicing that you अहेतु means no हेतु. And here हेतु is there. Why I am chanting विष्णु मंत्र ब्राह्मण ने बोला है क्यों बोला मेरे को ये चाहिए था इसलिए इसके पास गया था इसलिए जप कर रहा हूँ तो हेतु है ना इसमें. And he will not chant all the time. Only during time of yajna he will chant. So अप्रतिहता it's not continuing also. So that's why it's not pure devotion. So either pure or impure, you have to mix bhakti. Then only it goes ahead. And then he will get the goal of going to heavenly planet also. By doing karma kanda, one goes to heavenly planet. So he will get the goal of that. So even going to heavenly planet, the bhakti should be there. That's why in Indra Chandra, they are having some devotion. No? They are some mixed devotees. Why? How they can go there? They cannot go unless they have understanding of the Lord. तभी तो जाते होगा.
जब बोलते हैं कि 100 अश्वमेध यज्ञ या अंदर मिलेंगे so that अश्वमेध यज्ञ also you have to participate devotional service.
Yes, it's there. Which devotion is there in that yajna? It's yajna is there. Otherwise, if they are faithless people, they cannot go. नहीं जा सकता. विष्णु में वो फेथ रहने चाहिए. यज्ञ पुरुष है, अल्टीमेटली वो ही है. बट फिर भी उनका फेथ जैसे हम लोग को क्या बोला जाता है? Don't go to demigod. In Karmakanda, it's not told like that. Don't go to demigod. No, Vishnu is also there, God is also there. You can go to demigod also. But in pure devotion service, what is no? Don't go to demigod. No need. उसको जाना ही नहीं है demigod. तो हमारा वो वाला है न्यूज़पेपर का पढ़ना और पेड़ काटना चाहिए इसके लिए हमारा मार्ग वो है. तो कुछ भी इशू हो वृंदावन चले उनके पास. थोड़ा ज्यादा इशू तो काउंसलर के पास चले वो थोड़ा आपको और बोल देंगे. कोई भी इशू हो भगवान है कोई दिक्कत. तो ऐसा है ओके ना. So कर्म कांडा they give position to heavenly planet. Somebody can go even higher than also. So like that कर्म कांडा through path कर्म कांडा. Born in Brahman family, born in a rich family, having a good son, having a good land. These are all karma kanda. Janma, Aishwarya, Suti, Siddhi, all karma. So you can get all those opulences by worshipping demigods. But their opulences are temporary, mentioned by Krishna. The benedictions are temporary. You may get in one life. Next life, that benediction will not be there. You have to handle yourself. Like a demigod can tell you, okay, you become rich. How long will you remain rich? Nobody knows. But when Krishna makes Sudama as a rich person, then he will reach eternally. Bhagwan hai. And he is a devotee, and Krishna does not give like that. So he sees that he is a qualified member. So that person also maintains his quality of a devotee, and Krishna also knows. Therefore he remains like that. So that is why we attain eternal level, we never come back. Because we become qualified to attain eternal level. कृष्ण क्वालिफाइड बोलते भगवान जन्म कर्म सुनो भगवान इतना कथा सुन लिया अभी तक नहीं हुआ क्या भगवान अभी क्वालिफाई नहीं हुआ है तुम अभी और सुन जब क्वालिफाई हो जाए तो ऊपर भेज देंगे भगवान ऊपर भेजने के बाद वापस नहीं आना है क्योंकि आप क्वालिफाई हो गए है ना. अभी किसी डेमिगॉड वर्शिपर को भगवान अगर दे देंगे, so he will expect from other gods. So then Lord, अरे क्या है, मुझसे बोल दो, उनसे बोल. Therefore Lord keeps the very clear check. इधर ही साइन करना है और कहीं नहीं. कहीं भी साइन किया तो वापस चलो, तुम्हारा प्यूरिफिकेशन होगा. So devotional service is very our path is very pure path. कोई उसमें मिक्सिंग नहीं, ना फेथ का मिक्सिंग है, ना डिजायर्स का मिक्सिंग है, ना गोल्स का मिक्सिंग है. क्या गोल है? विष्णु है, नारायण है, इवन यशोदा नंदन चाहिए नहीं, केवल भजन नंदन गोपी गोपी मंजरी मंजरी. So that is very high. Actually, our Gaudiya Vaishnava, which we are learning, Rupa Goswami, that is Manjari Bhav. Manjari Bhav means servant of ललिता विशाखा के जो सर्वेंट्स है रूप गोस्वामी सनातन, उनके अंडर बिकमिंग मंजरी. एंड सम अदर संप्रदाय दे टीच बिकम सखी ऑफ गोपीज, राधा रानी की सखी, किसी और के विशाखा की सखी. तो हमारा सखी भाव नहीं है, our is मंजरी भाव. तो चैतन्य महाप्रभु और our गोस्वामी आर गिविंग मंजरी भाव. दिस इज हाईएस्ट, मतलब मंजरी भाव. And Manjari Bhav is higher than even Sakhi Bhav. Because this Manjari is always remain with Radha and Krishna. Always. Because say Manjari में छोटी छोटी लड़की हैं. Manjari means small girls. Small girls, they are always there. उनको कोई दिक्कत नहीं है. कहीं भी रहते हैं. चलिए थोड़ा गार्डन लेके आओ, चलो. तब पान बनाओ भगवान के लिए, चलो पान बनाए. मंजरी का ही काम होता है. साथ साथ में घूमते रहते हैं. कोई भी हर एक लीला में रहता है मंजरी. छोटे बच्चे हैं ना. तो हमारा भाव अगर हम कंप्लीट करके तो उधर पहुंच जाएंगे. अगर कुछ और भी भाव आया तो फिर वो भी मिलेगा. श्रील प्रभुपाद की